The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us. Here we are, another wonderful weekend. Welcome to show number 539. That's right, 539 shows of Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. You can access the show archives by simply going to Stewart.com/radio. That's Stewart.com/radio. We're going to get down to business as we have a tremendous show. Once again, super guests all the way around. We're going to first start with one of the leading restaurateurs right here in Houston, Texas, an incredible individual, super accomplished, in fact, awesome guy, and also giving back to the community, especially veterans, in a tremendous way. He is the owner of the Federal American Grill, my friend, Matt Bryce. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Well, that was quite the introduction. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. I thought you were going to introduce Johnny Caraba on that one.
No, well, at a later show, maybe we can have you both on. But in the meantime, I shortened the introduction because your accomplishments are so many, but also you've given back not just to helping the veterans here in Houston and beyond, but also giving back to the community. And at your restaurant, as you have a leading, I believe, restaurant culture within your team, you're giving back to the people that are working alongside with you. So first of all, in case someone does not know about the Federal American Grill, let's tell them about your restaurants.
Absolutely. So if you want to come in for a quick bite or a elegant bite, you can do it either way. I call it fine casual. So if you haven't been, it's a very approachable restaurant. We make everything from scratch. So you can come in for our #1 cheeseburger egg rolls. Those are a lot of fun.
I love those.
All the way to some fresh seafood that's we get every single day. So it's a big variety, or if you want a protein bowl. Also, if you like your cocktails, you can come in. We have about 400 to 500 whiskeys. I'm a big bourbon drinker myself, so like to taste a little variety. But we also make craft cocktails and everything at your disposal. So we have 5 locations here in the city. We just opened our newest one, and that's downtown off of McKinney. And so that one's been a blessing in disguise. It's just been awesome. So that was our 5th location. But we have one in Katy, one in the Woodlands, one on Shepherd, which is the original by Memorial St. Thomas High School. And then we also have the one on I-10 in Hedwig Village.
And the I-10 in Hedwig is the one I usually go to, but I was just in the Katy location last week. So great things are at the Federal American Grill. One of the things, as I was thinking about, is that here we are officially, kind of, sort of, I'll declare it officially, starting the holiday season, because I know a lot of us are thinking about, in the world of real estate and every other world that there is, we're thinking about Halloween's coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So let's tell people what's happening at the Federal American Grill.
Man, this year's flying by, huh? Already October. It's just so fast. We have Thanksgiving coming up, so we're always open on Thanksgiving from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can come in for $65. It's a full meal, all the Thanksgiving fixings. Also, you can order a short rib or chicken, truffle chicken. So it doesn't have to be just Thanksgiving dinner, but we'll be open for that. And then the big one is, if you don't want to cook at home, let us do the cooking. So we have a family 4-pack, and it's all the fixings you can think of. So turkey, spiral ham, and all the sides. And that's for $165. All you got to do is give us about 24 hours in advance, and we'll have it ready for you to pick up that morning with instructions on how to reheat. So it's really quick, and let us do all the cooking. If you want to do the turkey, we will do the sides. So this year we're doing all the sides because that's the hard part to do, right? So it's a lot of labor-intensive work there. So we do mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, everything, the dressing. So if you want that, those are $25, and that's a very large portion as well. So that's coming up. Currently, besides the holidays, we're doing an inflation relief menu for the rest of this year. It's kind of cool. It's at lunchtime from 11 to 3. And that's $15.95, and it's 2 courses. You get a soup or a salad with it, and then you get a main entree. So we figured, what can we do to help out? And, obviously to drive us more traffic too, but also to help everybody out there too that maybe can't go and eat for $25 a day. It's very expensive these days. So
inflation relief. That's catchy. I think people will remember it and they will partake in mass quantities, I'm guessing.
It's been great. We've been running it for about 2 weeks now. We're going to run it through the end of the year. And again, at lunchtime, it's kind of nice and approachable. You can barely go to McDonald's these days for $15. So to be able to come into Federal and have 2 courses, and you're going to be full. So I think it's just a great deal.
And Matt, going back to Thanksgiving, for the takeout where you have the turkey as part of the takeout, it's you say $165. How many will that feed?
4 plus. So 4 to, depending on how much you eat, but it's a lot. Because last year, we've been doing this for a few years, actually since 2020. And every year you get a little bit better and more feedback. And almost everybody that we talked to, and we sold a lot, had extra in for the next day or that night or whatnot.
Well, the key is to get in early. That's why we're having you here on the show and talking about it now, because the Thanksgiving reservations are finite. Yep. 5 locations, so you're poised to take reservations, I guess, when people hear this show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're ready right now, and they will fill up no matter what restaurant's opening. So just pick and choose where you want to go now is correct. You can make them on Open Table or just give us a call at one of the locations. You can make it through our website at thefederalgrill.com. And you'll be good to go. If you have any problems, just give us a call. If you have a bigger party, it's probably easier to give one of the locations a call as well.
thefederalgrill.com. Matt, one of the things that I think about when I think about you, so many things, but in terms of how you have grown your business, your personal growth, you use a coach.
I do.
In fact, you may have more than 2. Last I checked,
not anymore, but I did. It was too much.
Too much coaching. But the point is, one of the great things about success is we have to be constant learners.
Yes.
Whether we're in real estate or any other profession, but you indeed have taken up that charge. Give people, like recently, one of the things you and I talked about way back was a book called From A to B. How do we get from where we are to where we want to be? If we're a realtor, hey, I sold 10 homes this year. Next year I want to sell 300. But give us a word either about that book or also something you've learned recently that you're incorporating from your growth and your learning.
Yeah, that's perfect. That book itself we use all the time, and that's by Coach Burt. That's his name, and he's really taught me a lot. He's out of Nashville, so I go to him, and he gives it to me straight. And it's, a lot of times you're working with people that are awesome people, but on what level, are they going after? Are they trying to grow? Are they trying to grow? So when you go to somebody like Coach Burt and give them all, it's called your level 10 issues. What are your top 3 to 4 level 10 issues? A means here's where you are today. B is where you want to be. So for me, you could just pick a number, but let's say you wanted 1,000 apartments, right? And you're at 10. How do you get to the 1,000? And then each notch along the way. So if you just draw this line, right, and you have your A here and your B here, you have to do the little notches that most people will not do or want to skip, so they'll never get to their B. So the most important thing is do the next thing to get you there, and always have that goal in front of you. So if you have that goal, whatever you choose to do today, if it's not going to get you closer to that goal, then you must choose something else. So that book is really good about keeping you on track about what you should and should not be doing.
And also, you're saying you have to go a step at a time. You can't do everything at once to make progress as you go along.
And that's the hardest part for any visionary or any leader, is because you see it, you see the goal, you see where you want to end up and want to be there today. And the hardest thing is to do. It's like working out, right? We use this all the time. You want to have muscles. Well, guess what? How are you going to get them? You got to do a few push-ups. But the biggest thing you can do, and this is a huge takeaway, read Atomic Habits. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, it's probably the only book you ever need to read in order to go from A to B, because a lot of people get overwhelmed. I got to lose weight, or I got to get to the gym. No, you don't. Instead of looking at the book and saying, man, that's a long book, I got to read that book. No, just pick it up and read 2 pages. All right? So instead of saying, I have to go to the gym for 2 hours, no, get down and do 10, 15 push-ups. Do the little things, then you'll see those results. But if you don't do them and don't start it that way and you just have all these excuses, you're never going to get there. So Atomic Habits is my 100% recommendation.
And I'm glad you mentioned push-ups, because I know no one cares, but for the last 2 years, I've done 10 push-ups a day.
Nice.
Not 11, not 10 only, and I might have missed in these last couple of years at least 1 or 2 days, but outside of that, 10.
All right, that's it, though. So I'm going to recommend one more book, all right, and this is by Ed Milet, The Power of One More. All right, so that's when you do
11.
10 push-ups, all it says is do one more. That's all you got to do, one more day. You can read it. There's a great story in there, but it just pushes you to do one more.
A very successful book, too. I listen to Ed on a regular basis, and those of you listening, go to the podcast, the Ed Milet Show. super awesome. Great tips that we can use every day to power one more. The other one I remember last year he talked about how, I forget how he labeled it, but it was something about seasonal time where when others are resting, that's your time to push ahead. Yeah. And I forget how did you hear that? You might have heard that one, but it's very powerful.
He also talks about breaking your day down into 6-hour increments so you get more days out of the week. It's really interesting. So if you go and you listen to it, because people will just say, I got six hours to work. That's not true. So he breaks it down a little bit better. So if you watch that podcast, it's the same. It's in that same storyline.
As I started out in the introduction, Matt, I said that you give back to the community in a powerful way, as does your organizations, the restaurants, and the other things you're involved with. But Camp Hope is one of the things near and dear to the Federal American Grill. So let's tell people a quick word in case they want to help and in case a veteran is out there that needs help listening, whether it's on the internet or on the broadcast. Tell us a quick word about Camp Help, how people can help.
They definitely need your help. There's about 80 to 100 veterans at Camp Hope at any given time, and they need every type of supply you can think of. The things that they're doing out there for these guys, they go through this graduation class, and a lot of them do graduate, but they are sticklers. They are there. They need toothbrushes and toothpaste, and they need food, and they need supply. Everything you can think of is donated for them. So we do what we can. We have in the past, and we do this now. Actually, it's on our menu. Come into any Federal Grill at any time, and you'll see and order a burger, and it's a great burger, by the way. It's called the Freedom Burger, and every time you order that burger, $1 goes to Camp Hope. So every quarter, we cut them a check. And, I think the last quarter, we sold about 7,000 burgers. And so we cut them a check for $7,000. So that's just one little thing. But you can also go to Camp Hope's website, and they always have a wish list on there. So if you just want to buy, if you have $10 and just buy a pillow or whatever the case may be, all this stuff helps. We were just there on 9/11, and we wanted to do something nice for everybody. So we help feed and bring all the food and serve 80 veterans. And so we were there just doing that to say thank you for our freedom, because we get to do what we do because of them. So please keep that in the forefront of your mind. If you can help out, whatever you're doing and the freedom that you have is because of these guys. And so I always keep that in front of my mind.
I had the Freedom Burger when I was at the Katy location last week. What's the website for Camp Hope?
It's Camp Hope.
Camp Hope. Google Camp Hope. You can find there, and you can donate, you can help. But if you're a veteran in need,
yes,
there are people right now that are struggling, PTSD, it's real, and they're at the end of the rope in some cases, so they can reach out. They too can reach out to Camp Hope.
There is a number on there. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but if you just Google Camp Hope, they will take your call. I promise you. Dave Malsby is the head of Camp Hope. He is the best. He is the most. You've had him on your show. This guy, the things, the stories that you hear from these guys, if you guys have a chance to go visit Camp Hope, they have days, and it's on the website that they need volunteers. Your time, not even your money, go. I'm telling you, it'll change your life, and you'll see it for yourself, and I just think that you'll want to do more.
Matt, before we close this segment, reminder, Federal American Grill, Thanksgiving, inflation
menu, every lunch.
Right, you have that great menu going on. And the website is
thefederalgrill.com.
Matt, thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Matt Price, owner of Federal American Grill. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
As we continue, let's talk to Clayton Jones. He is with Keller Williams Platinum. Clayton, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Appreciate it.
Well, here you are. Keller Williams, known far and wide. Let's tell them about Keller Williams Platinum.
Keller Williams Platinum, we're based in Cypress. I kind of operate in the Tomball area, but our office is in the Cypress area. And then I'm also on a team called Mock Ranches with the Keller Williams group, and we're a statewide team that does farm and ranch. So I do residential real estate, but also some farm and ranch.
Well, now that you brought farm and ranch up, let's talk a little bit about farm and ranch in the Tomball area.
Okay.
Is there still room? Is there still land left?
They're not making any more of it, as they say. But yes, there's some acreage. Magnolia is exploding. The Hempstead area, Waller, there's still land to be had for sure.
Because that's what I'm hearing. People, every part of Houston North, every direction is being, the outer areas are being filled up, people coming from all over the place. Tell us about what I can find if I want. Let's say I want to buy a home with a couple acres. You got it?
Got it. Yeah, I actually just bought one myself. We wanted some acreage. We wanted not too much acreage. I was looking for an acre to 2 acres. So we're in a great neighborhood in Rosewood Hill, and houses in that neighborhood start around, there's one listed right now for $500,000, go up to the higher 700,000-800,000, but that gets you an acre or 2. There's some 3-5 acre lots in that neighborhood pool. Get you away from your neighbors a little bit. A lot of people are looking for that these days.
Well, and there's not so many places that we can have that extra room when we think about just talking about the Houston area, when we think about where we're at here in the studio and so forth. But it's nice to have a little bit of elbow room. Yeah,
a lot of people, are moving from California. They're moving from downtown Houston. They want a little more room. They want to have some chickens. They've been watching, some Chip and Joanna Gaines type stuff. They want some goats and chickens, and so they're looking for a little bit of acreage, manageable, and that's kind of my sweet spot. I kind of focus on the 5 to 10 acre lot area, and then also residential, primarily residential with some acreage. That's kind of my specialty.
It's interesting. This is show number 539, and it wasn't until this show and 2 shows before where we started talking about chickens. Fascinating topic. But in the meantime, before we go any further with real estate, you have an interesting background. Let's tell people you've been in the celebrity world, red carpet events, New York City, Los Angeles. So let's give us a taste of what you did before, and then you're in real estate. And how does that help you in real estate?
I have some Hollywood and New York City experience. I went to Texas A&M University, grew up outside of Austin, studied architecture there, and graduated right after the 2008 crash. So decided to move to New York City. I did some acting out there, but primarily I managed events. So I worked the Emmys, the Oscars, the Met Gala, all of that kind of stuff. So definitely rubbed shoulders with some celebrity clientele, did passing hors d'oeuvres and bartending and managing red carpets and all that good stuff. So a lot of fun. Did that for 5 years in New York City. Met my wife there. She hated the cold, so we moved to LA, did it in LA for 5 years, and then
hated the taxes? Or maybe.
Yeah, well, like a lot of people out in California, we had a kid. We were looking at our future, and we saw that our money went a lot further in Texas than it did in California. It also helped that, grandparents were in Texas, that we grew up here. And then that was all kind of during the COVID era. And so I decided to get my real estate license. Events, was kind of the first thing to get shut down. And so I made the shift and haven't looked back. I think it's been really great. I've just hit my 3-year mark. I like to say I've been in real estate 3 years, but I have 16 years of experience because I've sold enough. The average realtor only sells about 4 homes a year, and I just hit my 66th home. So I like to say
Congratulations.
Thank you. I like to say I have 16 years of experience in my 3 years of real estate. So it's been really great. I've had a great time, and I think probably the thing that translates the most is just the problem-solving aspect. At an event, something's always going to go wrong. Anybody that's had a wedding or a funeral or a party knows that something's going to happen. And so it's just being able to not get panicked, not get, overwhelmed, and figure out where you need to go to find the solution and be problem-solving oriented.
So we hear, and you even mentioned it, a lot of people moving from California, but here we have someone that moved from California, you, Clayton, and became a realtor. So that's interesting. And, of course, Texas A&M is known for a lot of people when they graduate to go into the entertainment field. Or not.
There's some. The biggest Aggie actor is the guy from Men in Black, and he was the voice of Zeus in Hercules. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we got one good actor.
Will Smith and
Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
Another. He's a Texas guy.
He is,
but not an Aggie. But not a ton. A couple the Longhorns are beating us with McConaughey and what's his name? The new It guy from Twister, and he just did that Richard Linklater movie.
Didn't see that. But the other thing when I looked at your background, you did voiceovers for Grand Theft Auto?
I did.
How does that work doing a voiceover for a video game?
So
that sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun. So I did two video games with Rockstar Games. Grand Theft Auto 5 was the first one. I played kind of I was like the mask salesman, and I was kind of a smoker toker kind of type, and sold the masks. And that was just in the studio. So I just went. I was in a sound booth and had bunch of pickup lines. The funny thing is, they say, "All right, now let's do the pickups." It's Grand Theft Auto. It's not the most family friendly game, so they were like, "Okay, stand in the backyard and yell blankety blank, you blankety blank, as loud as you can." And I was like, "Oh, all right, don't tell my mom,
But you're getting paid for it.
I got paid for it. That's right. And then the second game I did with them was Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was fun because I got to wear the mocap suit with the little balls on it and do some cowboy
like with the
stuff.
green screen type of deal.
Yeah, it's not a green screen actually. They're in a warehouse, and they have all these cameras set up, and they kind of build the world, and you act it out in this warehouse, and that's how they do it.
Well, I would think also architecture. I mean, that kind of helps in the real estate world a little.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild to me. A lot of people in real estate don't know a lot about real estate and homes and how they're built. And so I think anything that you can bring to the table of knowledge or just interest, one of the things I love most about being in real estate is that I get to go look at so many homes. Having a design background, I love to help clients kind of think, what are the things you could do, how to do them, how to make it look nice, what's the ROI going to be. I've got a listing coming up where helps them enclose a breezeway that's going to allow them to include some extra square footage, and it's going to help them out a ton on their resale of their property. So I like kind of looking at things from a design perspective. It's been helpful.
So back in Tomball, you had talked about farm and ranch, but what about just regular properties and things like that? What are the selections in the area and even adjoining areas that people could find and when they're looking for homes out there?
I
love
inventory. There is
question.
Inventory. There's about 3 months of inventory. So the weird thing about the market right now is sellers think it's 2021 and buyers think it's 2001.
Sounds like a movie right there.
So getting them on the same page can kind of be difficult, but there's definitely deals to be had, and you can find a lot of great stuff in Tomball. Tomball's, we chose to live there, so it's got access to Cypress, a ton of suburb. It's got downtown Tomball that has kind of that small town feel, and great school district in Tomball ISD. Got a couple of great athletes that have come out of there recently. Matt was just telling me before this, and yeah, we love Tomball. It's the place we live, that's about as good of a sales pitch as you can make. It's where I chose to raise my 2 girls and son, and my wife seems happy to be there.
And you have elbow room. We're talking with Clayton Jones with Keller Williams Platinum. Now, Keller Williams, big company, global, right? So when you all talk about at Keller Williams, and you have meetings on a regular basis, I understand. So end of the year, next year, what are the things that they are talking about now that you can share that aren't private as far as trends that we're seeing and things that you're preparing for as a real estate professional and all the other people on your team? So end of the year, next year, what's the word from KW?
Well, I'm always joke, if you talk to a realtor, it's always the right time to buy and the right time to sell, so which there is some truth to that. So I think the thing that we talk about is, in what situation is that the case? So there's a ton of pent up buyers that have kind of stayed out of the market. It's really interesting. I find that human nature, people kind of, when rates were going up, people were like, oh, I'm not going to buy. The rates are going up. They're going up from 4% to 5%. Well, now that rates are coming down from 7% to 6%, they're like, oh, it's time to buy, So rates, the Fed just made a big cut that made a bunch of news, and rates are expected to go down. So there's a bunch of buyers that are looking to jump back into the market. We talk a lot about new construction. The new construction market right now is super hot. There's tons of incentives that they're offering with closing costs, rate buy downs. And so having an agent that can kind of help you navigate what are your goals.
Tell people how they can reach you, Clayton Jones.
Shoot me an email at claytonjones@kw.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty active on social media. Clayton Claytexan, CLAYTXN.Jones. If you do the Instagram thing, and then my phone number, you can always shoot me a text or give me a call. 832-402-8784. Shoot me a text or give me a call anytime. 832-402-8784.
Thank you so much, Clayton Jones. Let's continue and talk with Ryan Givens, the company. That's right, Top Gun Realty. He's a Top Gun. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here, man.
Well, here you are. Real estate's always exciting. And Ryan, let's tell people, first of all, you got a great name, Top Gun Realty. Let's tell people about the company.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Top Guns is located out in Montgomery, Texas. I'm actually on a separate team called the Corp team. We handle a lot of commercial and then residential. I've focused mainly on residential at this time, but out in Conroe, Texas. So.
Well, Conroe, Texas, and when I looked on the website for your name, as I like to do almost every time, that was the biggest thing that came. Your name came up. There you are with a great picture, but also the big letters, Conroe, Texas. So I guess you're kind of an expert on Conroe, Texas.
Yes, sir. That's my hometown, born and raised.
So that's even better. You have extra insight into Conroe, Texas. So let's tell people. I bet there's people right here in the center of Houston that don't know much about Conroe. And for sure, outside of the state border, I bet people are saying, Conroe, Texas, where's that? Paint a picture for Conroe, Texas.
Yes, sir. So actually, Conroe, Texas is just north of Houston. We're close to the Woodlands as well. We got a lot of stuff out there. I mean, right now, what's booming is a lot of new construction, these master plan communities that are going up. There's so much development going on out there, but it's a hot market, so it's good.
It's a lot of growth. And what are the attractions, let's say, as far as Conroe goes? The other thing, are there trees there? Is it set the scene for the environment, what it looks like there for someone that hasn't been there?
Yeah, so it's like a perfect mix. You know, you got the hustle and bustle in the town, but you also have country. You know, where I'm from, I grew up on a farm out in what I call it's Grangerland, Texas. It's still Conroe, but Conroe's so big. So I mean, you got the lake on one side, you got all types of agriculture over there, farmland. But there's just so much. But a lot of, even closer to the highways that are, again, like those master plan communities I was talking about, there's so much out there now. So
you grew up on a farm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gotta ask, were there chickens?
Yes, sir.
How
Lots
many?
of chickens. Oh, man. We lost count. Sometimes the raccoons took them and stuff. And yeah, man.
Well, that has to be fascinating, just growing up on a farm. I did not, but it would be nice to have the experience of farm life and getting to see the world. Because I think one of the things that happens is people that are living in the city, have lived in the city for a long time. I think one of the things that's driving the growth is people want to change their lifestyle and go where there's more elbow room, like maybe Conroe.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So there's a lot more elbow room out there. I mean, my parents, they still got their farm. I mean, 8-acre farm out there. And there's so much out even close to them that a lot of these master plan communities are coming out. I know I talk a lot about that, but it's wild because there's still trees out there. There's still plenty of room between you and your neighbors. And you got a lot of things to do within them. So.
Well, give us an idea as you're talking about the communities that are out there with their new builds, right? Mm-hmm. And incentives, as we understand. What are the selections as far as the communities? And you're saying they're retaining the trees. So you're familiar with, I would guess if someone wants to say, hey, I want a new community in the Conroe area, you probably know them all.
Yeah, there's a good bit, and it always varies based on price point. I mean, anybody's going to tell you that. It always is going to vary. But there's so much opportunities out there. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's just that good mix to where you can still get to the Woodlands if you work out in the Woodlands. A lot of my clients do, or out in Houston, like you can still hit that highway, hit on 99 wherever, and it's just quicker. But yeah, there's a lot of options. It just varies per price point.
A lot of people ask. Let's take Conroe for example. Is it a buyer's or a seller's market there?
Right now, it's definitely a buyer's market.
So it's a good. There you go. It's a good time to buy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's hot. I mean, especially with all these incentives that are going on. I mean, you got to look at it. You're in quarter 4 right now. So a lot of these builders want to get out their inventory before we hit 2025, right? So they got lots of incentives. I was just able to, glory be to God, we were able to negotiate a big deal for one of my clients just now, located over there in Conroe. But man, it's just amazing. I mean, $40,000 that we got. We were able to negotiate $20K
incentives.
20K incentive and then $20K off of listing price. So hey, we're like, whoa, okay, it's hot right now. We can actually negotiate well with these. And I mean, in a resale, you can't really do that right now. So that's really where we're seeing, hey, this is a great opportunity for buyers at this time. So.
And as a real estate professional, there you are, and of course you're known for the Conroe area. But how else do you market your services? How do you let people know about you, Ryan Givens? Top Gun.
Yeah. So I love digital marketing. That's one thing that I always love doing. I love creating fun videos that just interact with people. I love short form content. That's one of my favorite things to do, just attract people to it. So for my sellers, that gives you the opportunity to get out there in front of more people. I believe that you can entertain people and just, show them what you got with just short form content nowadays. But, of course, we have our other platforms for our team that we put on our website and everything. But there's lots of ways to market.
So in terms of the social media, is there one or two that you use the most?
I focus mainly on Facebook. I do have the other ones, so I have like TikTok and stuff like that. But I focus mainly on just Facebook.
So when you use Facebook, what do you do? Put your listings on there, or you're saying you have entertaining videos as well?
Yes, both. Yeah, so I kind of mix it so I can put an entertaining video that meshes into show my client's home or just some property that we're going to view or anything, and then that gets people to.
Hey, I can tell you're an entertaining guy. I can see that in your eyes right now. When you think, let's take you when you do something that you want to entertain and get noticed and people remember you. What's the creative process there? Where do you get your ideas, and do you sit down and say, "Oh man, that'll be good for a video"? How does that work?
So, kind of just coming from my point of view, I love to just talk and engage with people. So I'll take, instead of just Googling it, I'll go ask my audience. I want to engage with them and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Or, "Hey, are you a Cowboys fan? Are you a Texan?" Because I want to engage with my audience, but also it's just merely just talking to people about what's going on in the market or just something interesting that I'm seeing, like at this beautiful home, just showing them what they want to see.
And right now, as you're helping buyers and sellers, right? Do you have more listings, or are you helping more buyers? Let's say in the last couple months, how's it working? What's the ratio?
Right now, I've been focused mainly on buyers and leases. So, got a couple in the queue for some listings here soon.
And you said that your company also helps commercial business too, but right now you're not involved so much in commercial.
Yeah. I don't specialize as much, but we do have plenty of people within our team that, they're doing well. They do.
And from what you see in Conroe, as you're seeing the residential activity, do you see commercial activity? Because I guess they go hand in hand, and as a place grows, you're seeing more. I haven't been to Conroe in a while, is why I'm asking. Is a lot of stuff going on in terms of additions of stores, restaurants, and these things?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. There's a big uptick. If you even just look in the Grand Central area, which is Conroe, but it's like anything around the Loop 336. It's a hot market right now. There's just so much going up, so much developing, bringing people over there. We got another Planet Fitness even coming in. The other one's too small, and so it's growing.
So if someone called you Ryan Givens, and they said, "Hey, I want to live in Conroe, but I need some elbow room up there, and maybe I want 2 acres or a home with 1 or 2 acres, not 10 or 5, but something like that." Do they have that?
Yeah, they definitely do. There's all types. Even if you go a little bit closer towards like the Montgomery area, even there's more out there. But I again, there's some out towards where my hometown. That's, again, it's still growing. So out towards like Grangerland, it is still Conroe, and now with 99 in there, it's a little bit quicker shot. There's a lot of places in between too, with the good acreage.
This is the first I've heard of Grangerland.
Oh yeah, man.
Tell us about Grangerland. Where is it? Next to Conroe?
Yeah, it is considered Conroe. It's Grangerland, but it's a small town. I went to, Caney Creek High School out there. It's a great small town. It's just where I grew up. First job was at the pizza shop out there. It's awesome. So I like it out there.
So Grangerland's a potential as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Give us an idea, when you're not involved in the real estate world, what are some of the things that you're doing to relax and to have your downtime?
So as far as just downtime, I love to hang out with my family. I'm a big person of faith. I love to read the Lord's Word. Something that always rejuvenates me actually throughout the week. I'm actually in ministry, so I do. I love that I get the opportunity to actually serve the Lord in that way and help men overcome any hurts, habits, and hangups they got. I just enjoy that. So that really recharges me throughout the week. And so, yeah, that's what I get to do.
Did I read somewhere something about physical therapy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have a knowledge of physical therapy, which a lot of people need for injuries and so forth. Give us a quick word on that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So for 4 years, prior to this year getting into real estate, I was in physical therapy. I became a physical therapist assistant. And so I got to do that for 4 years. I love helping people getting to get them back. And, a lot of it correlates to real estate because there's a lot of emotions when you're going through pain, and there's a lot of pains in general. And I just love that I get to help people overcome things and still get to support and guide them. But yeah, I love both fields. It's great.
I know as people I hear as they get older into the upper reaches that sometimes they wake up and a pain comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
Every day there's like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah, it can vary by the weather. I mean, the weather
That
can make
too.
a change. I mean, we've all been in colder climates or it starts to rain and my left knee's hurting, A lot of those things start to happen. But hey, it's beautiful what people in the PT field can do.
Sounds to me like it's time to go to Conroe and call Ryan Givens.
Yeah, definitely. My number is 832-401-3999. Again, you can also reach me on Facebook, Ryan Givens. That's GIV as in Victor, ENS. My number is 832-401-3999.
Thank you so much, Ryan Givens.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Let's talk to one of our Stewart Title Business Development Officers. Her name is Hope Moy. Hope, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Bill. Good to see you. I see you a lot lately.
And that's a good thing because you and Becky Bohannon and the whole team are the A+++ team. So when people need help with the real estate transaction, those that want to request Stewart Title or realtors that know and love you, hey, they reach out to you all the time because we have the best. You're part of that team. Hope, let's tell people the offices that you serve for Stewart Title.
Perfect. So I work out of the Montgomery County area. My two offices that I serve are in Magnolia and Conroe. My Magnolia office is off of 1488 and 2978, and my Conroe office is off of 336.
What if someone's in Grangerville?
Grangerville. So
They
my
can go to Stewart too, right?
or Grangerland. Is it
Granger-
Grangerland?
Grangerland.
Yeah. I'm like,
First I heard about it.
My Conroe office would most definitely be the closest to that area.
Sounds pretty good. So also, one of the things that you do and our whole team does is you have education activities, CE, continuing education classes. You have fun activities.
Yes.
You and the team are a tremendous resource for real estate professionals, certainly here in the Houston area, but far and wide.
Absolutely. We love to provide value to what our agents do every single day. If we can help them build their business in any way, that is what our sole purpose is. So we're here to support them and our offices 100%.
And I know right now someone wants to reach out to you and close their transaction right
Absolutely.
there in Conroe, Magnolia.
Or Magnolia.
Yeah.
I love that. So my phone number is 346-224-1908. Again, it's 346-224-1908. Give us a call. We'd love to work with you on your next contract.
Thank you, Hope Moy.
You're very welcome.
And I also want to mention Becky Bohannon. She is tremendous. Her office is tremendous. That's right. They are in Tomball, Texas. Stewart Title. We're covering all the areas. So reach out to Becky and anyone else at Stewart Title if you want help with your real estate transaction, you want to bring the transaction there, or if you want to find out about the great things going on. And I have a feeling that all year long we have great things that we're offering with our business development people at all the offices, but especially I have a feeling as the holiday times are upon us, it might get more fun and even more educational. Just saying. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today, they invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is once again, John Bramlett.
Howdy, Bill.
From Texas A&M and Stewart Insurance.
Texas A&M and Stewart Insurance. That's
they're
correct.
known for the entertainment.
They are. Lyle Lovett.
That's right.
Lyle Lovett.
So many great people are part of Texas A&M. It has to be. It makes me wish I went there to school.
Well, I think when you have Clayton come back, maybe he can sing a little Lyle Lovett. And
I bet he might have that talents that we don't even know about.
Exactly.
But once again, insurance itself.
He and Ryan could do a duet.
That's a thought. Well, they'll have to work on that and then exhibit what they come up with.
Yeah, they've got 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and then they'll be able to.
Well, it depends how it goes.
That's true.
At least
That's true.
I can guarantee you 1 minute, and then we'll.
Fair enough.
We may have to shut it down.
Fair
But
enough.
in the meantime, it's a certain art to work day in and day out in the world of insurance these days, especially. So here you are bringing important insurance information to us every week.
Well, I wanted to share some research that was recently released from the Travelers Risk Index. They do a study every year where they interview business leaders to determine what are the risks that they're concerned of, what are the things that keep them up at night. And for the fourth year out of the last 6, it's cybersecurity. And cyber risk is the number one concern. It's a greater concern than just the general overall economy. It's a greater concern than, being able to retain and attract talent. It's a greater concern than the cost of employee benefits or just the cost of medical support for your employee. So it is 62% said that was their number one concern were cyber attacks, cyber threats to the firm. In fact, of those surveyed, 24% said they had some sort of cyber incident, and that's 8 out of the last 9 years. There's been an increase in that percentage. So we're seeing more and more of these cyber attacks taking place. So, it's primarily security breaches, but we're also seeing an increase in extortion or ransomware.
Interesting you say that. In last week's Wall Street Journal, one of the editions, they had a cyber hacker, an 11-year-old guy that was a cyber hacker, and I guess they were trying to put him in jail, but because of his age, but he was a terror on the cyber crimes.
Well,
terrible. Yeah,
it's
11 years old.
It's a huge scare, and it's not just. I mean, we hear about the big companies that get hit, but it's not just big companies. I mean, in many cases, it's easier for these criminals to infiltrate smaller firms that might not have the sophisticated risk management protocols that some of the larger companies do. And maybe you may not be able to obtain as much money or as much information from the smaller companies, but you hit enough of them, and the aggregate is going to be pretty solid. The scary thing about the story or about the survey was, while 62% of the folks said they didn't have that was their number one concern, 30% didn't even have coverage. So there are folks out there that recognize that it's a risk, and they recognize that it's a concern, but they haven't done anything to offset that exposure.
As you say that, it makes me think about right now the technology is at such a high level, and the threats are continued. They're adapting and overcoming each one of the firewalls and cautions that are put up, the criminals. And it makes me think, boy, 5-10 years from now, what is the state of the technology? And they're going to be advancing. The criminals are going to be advancing their skills as well. So it's an ongoing, really, it's a war, as I would put it.
Well, and I think there are two fronts that we can, using that analogy, that we can fight on. The first is the risk mitigation. So what are the things that we can do to minimize risk? So all risk is the probability of something bad happening, and then exposure is that financial damage that's caused by the risk. So what we try to do in working with our clients on their business insurance, specifically in the area of cyber coverage, are there some things that you need to do up front to minimize that risk. So we'll continue to work with clients on those things, and then to offset that exposure or take some of the financial damages off of your shoulders or the company's shoulders and place it on an insurance company, and then providing them cyber liability coverage.
That sounds awesome, John. What are some of the other things we should know about it? How can we protect ourselves even as individuals? What are some of the things you do to be on the safeguard of the cyber
Well, I mean, one, you've got to be smart with your passwords. So it can't be Bill K for everything, or it can't be Elvis is my dog for everything.
How'd you know what my password was? Don't tell anybody.
No, it's just between you and me. But no, that's the first thing is that it can't be something that's easy to figure out. And in many cases, folks are now using these password programs where there is that it's stored, and then you're able to manage it much easier. But that's one. Having a VPN, having dual authentication on your accounts is always important, so that you have to prove who you are. And I know that can be a challenge sometimes, but having that dual authentication is really good. Having protection software is always helpful. And then from a business perspective, they're going to look at all those things as well. They're going to look at protocols on how you how do you manage risk in the company. They're going to look at do you have processes and procedures in place so that you can minimize that, or who has access to the data. Is the data protected? Do you have data protected offsite as well as onsite? So those are the things that they're going to want to see in many cases before they'll even write coverage. And then it's important to have that coverage so it can assist with the costs associated with any kind of a breach of data. It can help with if there needs to be forensic analysis. Let's find out where the breach originated, because you may find out that it's not your system. But it's important to know that if there are defense costs, which there always are, then it helps with those things as well.
Well, as we are, again, at the end of the year, thinking, at least on this show, a little bit this time around, we're thinking about the holidays and ahead, but it's a planning time. Yeah, we have the holidays, we have the fourth quarter, but we plan. And at Stewart Insurance, Tom Carpentier, who leads the company in a fantastic way, 24/7. He's always thinking about the future, but I bet his mind's in overdrive in the last quarter. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just feeling it. I can feel it across town, but I know there's some talk about next year, the end, and how things are going to be brought together here at the end of the year. Can you share a little bit with us of some of the things that you're looking ahead there at Stewart Insurance, you and the team?
Well, sure. So we are in the middle of planning for 2025.
Was I on target just a little?
You're on target. My plan is due on the 18th of October. So, so that's, yes, we are planning on that. But it still is driven by our mission to be the insurance resource for real estate. So that's driving it, and it's driving it on making sure that we are advocates for our clients. So the language that we choose is important to how we do business. So we don't have customers, we have clients, because customers tend to be a transactional aspect. We're not insurance agents that are selling policies. We're insurance advisors that are building plans. So again, having that relationship with our clients, understanding whether it's an individual or a business, what those needs are, that's important. Part of our brand is that we want to treat people like a VIP experience. So they come away thinking that it was such a great experience, and they were talking about insurance, that they feel like that when we're working with them, that they're the only person that we're concerned with at that time. So those are the things that we expect. So that's what we're going to be driving towards. And then from that, who are going to be our key targets for 2025? What are the industries and individuals that we can help the most? Where can we grow by providing that value?
It's going to be very exciting.
We're looking forward to it, yes.
And hope to see, maybe we get Tom on the show sometime soon to shed some light on some things. But you and the whole team, led by Tom, I'll tell you, I'm always excited and inspired when I sit with Tom and think about what's going on with the company, and also his visionary ideas. I mean, he's a sharp guy.
He is a sharp guy, and we're excited about 2025.
And he didn't go to A&M, did he?
He did not. No, he
but
did
still
not.
A sharp guy.
Still a sharp guy, yes.
There's no doubt about it.
There are a few of those out there.
Just a few. John, let's tell people anything else you want them to know and how to reach Stewart Insurance.
If you'd like to be properly insured, reach us at 866-798-2827 so we can help you with your personal insurance as well as your business insurance, and that's 866-798-2827.
And if someone's in Grangerland, Grangerville, or any of the above, what number should they call?
866-798-2827.
Thank you, John Bramlett.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
And now, speaking of Clayton Jones with Keller Williams Platinum, he's back as as we close the show. Clayton, let's tell people as we close things down, what else you want them to know about what you're doing in your real estate activity or anything else?
I just want people to know that finding a professional agent that you enjoy working with is the best thing that you can do when you are making what is, for most people, the biggest purchase of or asset that they will own in their lifetime. And so find somebody that you like, that's honest, and that does a lot of business, and hopefully that'll be me.
Somebody like Clayton Jones.
Somebody just like Clayton Jones, in fact.
There's only one of you, though. But they can reach out to you. In the meantime, before we give your number there, Clayton, give us another word about what you learned being involved. Because a lot of us, I mean, entertainment is such a big part of people's life, whether it's sports entertainment or as we talk about movies and TVs. But you were around the so-called limelight, the red carpet world, and that's fascinating to some of us because, hey, that's why shows like Entertainment Tonight, and we like to read about the celebrities and stuff like that. But you were right there on the front lines. I bet that was interesting.
Yeah, it was super interesting to kind of see how the who's who of Hollywood, how they live. And, you know, I was in the service industry, so they have really high standards, high expectations. And I think the thing I learned most is that it requires a team. I love working with Stewart Title, Becky over at Tomball. I have a transaction coordinator. And so I think being on a team that is supportive, that I can ask questions to and find solutions for, I think the thing I learned most about those super highly successful people is they have really good teams and they focus on what they're good at. And so I try to do that. I love people. I love talking with people. And so I try to focus on that and have a really strong team around me to help with all the paperwork. And Becky makes sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed for me.
Of all the celebrities that you got to be around, which one impressed you the most and that you got to talk to even just for a little bit?
Jennifer Aniston shook my hand and said, "Thank you so much, Clayton." And my little millennial friend's fan heart just about exploded with that one. And then I also served Julia Roberts dinner one night and was pretty smitten with her as well. So
what did she order, or what was on the
cuisine? She had a salad, and I said, "Are you finished, Julia?" And she said, "Oh, I should be." And I was like, "Girl, you still look amazing. You're doing everything right.
Yeah,
it's a salad. Just you." But I didn't say that to her. I said, "Yes, ma'am." Yeah.
So sounds good. Clayton, how can people reach you? Clayton Jones.
Give me a call. Shoot me a text, 832-402-8784. 832-402-8784.
Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you, Bill.
And now he's back, Ryan Gibbons. Well, Ryan, it's you and me as we close the show down. A fantastic opportunity to tell people what else you want them to know.
Well, I'm so thankful, first off, for being here. So thank you for having me on. And I just look forward to serving people in any way that I can. So.
Well, Hope Moy was very instrumental. She's pretty fantastic, isn't she?
Yes, she's awesome. I appreciate her so much.
So in the meantime, as far as real estate, if someone's saying, "Hey, I think I just heard this Conroe expert on the radio right here, fourth largest city," what else you think they should know about the Conroe expert, you, Ryan Gibbons?
Yeah, well, again, I just love serving people. So any way that I can, I look forward to working with you. And, yeah, feel free to shoot me a text, call me at 832-401-3999. Again, that's 832-401-3999.
And you're a guy that knows probably every street in Conroe. So you can kind of give them the whole picture and, this used to be here, that's coming here, this is going to
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of inside Conroe knowledge.
Yeah, I sound like my grandpa. I mean, everything used to be trees right here and everything. It's like I used to play baseball there, and it's like now that's a neighborhood, or whatever. So it's growing. It's awesome. 832-401-3999. 832-401-3999.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. That's right, K is silent. Together with John Bramlett and all of us with Stewart Title, Stewart Insurance, and you can see this show, all the guests, also access the show archives simply by going to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening. Please tell your friends, and we will see you next week.